Welcome to the session about where your clients, how to avoid the worst sales mistakes, gain new customers, and succeed. Hi to everyone. If you could tell me from which city and country you are and your role in the school, I would like to know you better, my audience today, so please write it down on the chat. It will be very helpful. So yeah, if you're responsible for sales, actually, that's my main question. From my experience, a lot of language schools have a big problem. Hi from Poland. All right. Anyone not from Poland here? Okay, a lot of language schools have a big problem with reaching a larger audience and scaling business. And I'm ready to show you that it's not a rocket science, really. We'll define a weak spots in a lead generation workflow, and I will show you practical tips on converting as many leads as possible into happy customers. All right, let's go forward then. As Anya said, I'm a part of LangLion platform team, software for managing school at all levels, a comprehensive tool for administration tasks, finances, but also tracking learning process, even through online classes and much, much more. I've been working in sales for my whole professional career, so about 15 years. And for more than 8 years, I work with language schools from various countries, and my experience shows that language schools all over the world are facing similar problems. School owners ask me how to generate a lot of leads to generate sales. And of course, it's an important question, but at the first step, you should focus on making your conversion process and conversion rate the best it could be. I mentioned it also a week ago on my webinar here in the nation. So if you haven't seen that, I encourage you to do later on, not now. But according to the conversion rate, if you have 100 leads, but your conversion rate is 5%, you will gain 5 new clients, right? But if your conversion rate from the other side is 15%, you need only 34 leads. And if your conversion rate is 30%, you'll need only 17 leads to reach the same result. So it makes a difference, right? So if your conversion rate is bad, it costs you twice more work to get the same result. You need to intensify your marketing actions, work more with sales, maybe even decrease prices. So in general, you lose even more than just a new client. You lose your and your employees' time, and as time is money, you also lost money. So first, you have to ask yourself why new clients don't come to you. Any ideas? The reasons for this situation can be categorized, and I'll divide them into 3 sections. First one is our lacks in contact. For many years, I used to call language schools myself, and I never knew if I was calling a large school or a small one. I was able to conclude from websites, but it happened that my conclusions were absolutely wrong. Small schools had great websites, and large schools' websites were very primitive and outdated. And the truth is that very often no one answered my phone or called me back. I understand that if your school is small and the number on the website is for you, owner, and you're still teaching, it's really difficult to answer each phone call or call back during the break between classes. But it doesn't change the fact that if you're not calling back, your sales opportunity, your lead, may have just reached your competition. However, if the number on your website is into your office manager, please make sure that they always calling back. It's not so obvious, so make sure they do. Often, they only rescue our emails, but unfortunately, answering them after a few days, it's also not very promising for a potential student. The gold standard is to answer an email as soon as possible, the best in a few minutes, to show how to show the ease of communication with you, and at least in 24 hours. Some time ago, short storytelling. Some time ago, I recommended a language school to my close friend. She wrote an email to this school and never got a reply. And then, after a few days, she asked me if I'm sure about them. And that's how easily you can lose your credibility. But she was truly determined because she trusted my recommendation, and the school was also in her neighborhood. So she called them. But it was her. Maybe someone else would resign. If we put it all together, it turns out that it's really difficult, technically difficult to sign up and reach you. Once I saw the school's website where in the registration, there was a registration section, but in it, there was a PDF file to download it, which had to be completed by hand or in Adobe, and sent to the school by email to register. It's hard for me even to believe that anyone has made it through this form. Another thing, of course, sometimes it happens that there are no places in groups for a particular person, but you do not offer him, her any alternative, and the student resigns despite your best intentions. If it's one person, it's okay, but are you sure that you won't make a small group for such dropouts? Or maybe students would like to opt for more expensive individual classes, or offline or online, depends on the situation. Willing to help the client and showing possible alternatives will always be appreciated. Okay, so that's the first section, lacks in contact. The second one is our lacks in marketing. So another reason could be that there is no marketing in any form whatsoever. You do not have a website because you think you don't need it. A Facebook page is enough. On Facebook, however, nothing is happening because you stop posting there because nobody reacts to it. You probably do not have mailing databases and don't send mailings. But the best strategy is to move the contact with the customer to the area that you have under control. You can build a strong audience on Instagram or Facebook, but it's always the area of those companies, and you are only the guest who can leave some money to reach your goal and reach your students. But you don't have it. You don't have a full control over it. If Facebook changes an algorithm once again, which they do all the time, you will face the challenge how to reach your followers. And a small spoiler, socials are not enough. Clever usage of it can sell, and it could be and it could help you to build your brand, but it shouldn't be your main place on the internet. It's me, but if I would like to search for a language school, I would never search for an offer on Facebook. However, if I check your website and I would like to convince myself about my choice, I would check your socials. If I fit into your communication, narration, and the lifestyle you're representing. Additionally, if marketing is on your shoulder as owner and you have a little time for it, you do marketing the way you already know, often the result is that the graphics and techniques used are not modern, not very encouraging for any interactions. If you're treating marketing as a hot potato and no one is truly responsible for it, you won't get any satisfying results. Okay, third one. As a result of everything I've talked about, there is a lack of a trust in you as a brand. Of course, don't take it personally, but if your website is out of date, you do not answer the phone call, and there is no contact with you. The photos you share on the website or social media are stock photos. It is really difficult for your potential student to believe that the quality you represent is at the highest level. Often is also the chaos in secretariat, the office. Another short story. I spoke to my friend and I recommended her school for her child. It turned out when she was in the front of the classroom with the child that the group won't start, but no one let her know about that. It's probably no surprise that she enrolled her child elsewhere, right? I know you believe in your teaching method. However, you must also make it clear to your potential customers. Writing on a website the highest quality of teaching will not impress anyone. You can find it on almost every website of a language school, but it's just a phrase that will not be believed if you can't prove it to your prospects by your actions, not only words. The truth is that before the course, your customers cannot verify your promises. It can be proved only by perfect customer service, sales process, and marketing. If you have any question, go on the chat, of course. All right. In the beginning, we need to focus on how to generate leads, mostly online, as you probably still teach online. Do you work offline or online? How it is now? And both, right? And your leads probably, even if they want to learn offline, they make buying decision online right now. Okay, let's go then. First one is website. The school's poor website, in my opinion, ruin absolutely everything. I even ignore this extremely important factor. that Google will simply lower you in the search results if, for example, it is not adapted to mobile devices or outdated. But a potential customer, even if you have a great offer, perfect offer for him, but he enters the 2010 website, will run away immediately. Be sure to check in Google Analytics what is your bounce rate. Bounce rate is parameter when a user enters your website, check it for a few seconds, and goes back to the search results in Google. If it's above 30%, you should look for the cause and try to decrease it. Human nature is simple. If a website is outdated, unsightly, how can I build a confidence in the quality of teaching it offers? There are some tips, some small tips on how to make the viewer of your web page your lead, but I will share it in my second session today. So I hope you'll join me too at 2 p.m. And if you're searching for an inspiration, since 2016, we make a ranking of websites of language schools on blog.langlion.com. And frankly, it's still so hard to find impressive and useful websites. So think about that. All right. Google Business Card. Last year, I wrote a blog post how to make a Google Business Card and why it's worthwhile to have one. And I was shocked because it was our best article last year, mostly viewed. If you have a Google Business Card and your potential student search for your school in Google, they are going to see instantly all core pieces of information about your school: the address, opening hours, opinions from Google, but also from Facebook. They will be able to view school photos, but also with a single click will be able to go to the map and check how far your school is from their home, or go to your website or call you, all in one box, as you can see on the screenshot. For some of your potential students, the most important factor is the location of the school. It happens when they don't know how to search for the best language school, and they will search for a school in a Google map. And if you have a Google card, your school will appear as a pin on the map. Google is really guiding you step by step how to do it. So yeah, go on with that. If you already have one, check if it's not outdated or can be improved. If you don't have it, do it. It's free. To get inspired, you can check how language schools from your city or other cities done that. All right. Social media. The most important thing is to realize in which medium your potential students spend the most time. We can divide them according to the age, as you can see on the screen. The youngest ones, TikTok, Instagram, but mostly stories. Then up, Instagram and Facebook. Up, Facebook, and baby boomers, Facebook and LinkedIn. For the young follower, Facebook is not attractive. at all, actually, because his parents and grandparents are active there. But of course, you can, yeah, spot on from millennials. Um, yeah, but of course, you can share the content on Facebook, for example, with their parents. And they are decision makers, so don't ignore them. And if you're focusing on incorporate courses, I use LinkedIn for sure. From my observation, the popular problem is that we choose the channel that we are familiar with, not the best for our target group. So define to whom you're selling to and analyze what would be the best channel to reach them, even if you would have to learn it and it's not your first choice, right? Anyway, I will not focus on social media now because Ania Popławska, a social ninja, social media ninja, will teach you in the last session today how to obtain new clients from social media. So I'm just going forward to the next thing where how you can generate your leads. And the next one is social proof. Social proof is a psychological and social phenomenon wherein people copy the actions of others in attempt to undertake the behavior in given situation. Opinions of other consumers have a huge impact on purchasing decisions. Most of us are more likely to believe in the value of product if we find that others like it. This way, our mind eliminates the risk of making a decision and builds trust. For example, if people camp near iStores to buy a new iPhone, means that it's worth having it, right? 92% of people believe in opinions and recommendations of friends, but also a lot, 70% believe in the opinions of strangers posted on the internet. It's worth taking advantage of. So, as I mentioned, even if your customers buy offline, they often make decision online. Therefore, you should collect customers' reviews and recommendations by posting them on the website. You can ask your customers to write reviews on Facebook and Google regularly. You can even send them direct links. Instead of giving customers a discount for enrollment to the next course, why not to give it for flattering review? Or make the video with satisfied customers, or put a review feed from Facebook on your web page. There's a few different options you can use to use this social proof. Okay, next one is mailing. I will not talk too much about it. Just you have to collect a newsletter list, create good content, and send it out in a nice form to your subscribers. The most important thing, remember that email must be in the HTML form, not an image, and scale well on mobile devices. In addition, mailings sent in a long intervals may result a higher percentage of opt-outs because regularity creates habits, but you know it, right? If you create valuable content, don't be shy to share it. But of course, it has to be in an attractive form. So focus on creating nice graphics. I will share some softwares for that in my next session, so stay with me. You do not need any special skills for that, just a little time and a sense of aesthetics. In our business, as a LangLion platform, mailings combined with the content marketing is the most powerful tool for lead generation process. Of course, it's not universal, right? But it could be, even if intuitively it won't be your first choice. So now about content marketing there. Our sales and lead generation are based on content marketing, blogs, webinars, conferences like this one. I will say even more. After each content newsletter, we receive a trial request after every one. But we've been working for this for 7 years. For 7 years, we have been continuously creating content for owners, managers, and marketers of language schools and bringing real value to their lives. Many schools have tried blogging, but unfortunately, if you don't do it consistently, it doesn't work, which brings us the full cycle. While preparing, I was browsing blogs of random language schools. Often the last entry is from September. And this the post that we are starting a new school year. Not very impressive, right? But the content marketing doesn't have to be a blog. Maybe you prefer a video form, or webinars, or podcasts, or Facebook Live if you have a big audience there. If you start quickly, you will be the first one, and that's always a huge advantage over your competitors. But if your blog, YouTube channel, podcast, Insta stories will not bring a real value to your followers' life, unfortunately, there will be no effects or subscribers. Actually, language teaching is really sexy topic to make a content. YouTube channel, English with Lucy, has almost 6 million subscribers, and some of her videos were played 60 million times. According to the Instagram, Frizzle Idiomatic account on Instagram is followed by 1 million followers, right? So there's still a field to play with. Okay. Next one, offline. Oh, I'm talking here about online stories, but of course you should know that this online world has a lot to offer. And if you teach online, you don't have to focus on the location of your school anymore. But regarding your offline activities, you can take part in local events, organize your own, like reading books, cooking workshops, and meetings with travelers, summer camps, language trips, all to integrate your local communities. Now it's probably not the best time to focus on that, but I wish us all that you could use those ideas soon. All right. Now, when we know how to generate more leads, let's go to the question, how to sell. First of all, as I mentioned, it's not a rocket science, it's just constant and determined work. There is a rule in sales, ABH, always be helping. By sticking to it, you will never be treated as spammer or intruder. Your lead has a problem that you can help him solve. If the client feel it, he will be grateful and will appreciate it, and the sooner or later he will become your client. Um, I observe that schools without a plan are starting some marketing activities. Unfortunately, it is often seen that they have no any fixed goal, doing something just for doing buzz, right? However, you must remember that marketing costs you both time and money. For such an action to be justified, it must sell directly or indirectly. So if you take any action and effort, let it have a chance whether you get something in return. I'm not saying that, for example, you have to make money for some shirt materials, but you need a strategy for that. For example, you give them 10 times some content for free, spread the information about it, and already by the 10th time, 11th time, or whatever number, you provide them for sharing an email. In other words, the client pays you for it with their email address. If your action has no chance to pay off, your marketing does not affect sales, you should abandon it after some trial period and monitor it regularly. Next, use every lead you have. If you already have a contact with someone, use it as well as you can. For example, if the client left an inquiry on the website and you reply them within 24 hours and wait for the feedback, do you have a habit of remembering such a contact? If he gave you a phone number, will you call back? According to the research, the customer needs about 6 contacts with the brand to make a decision whether it's positive or negative, whatever. The best way to contact them is to mix the forms of contact: email, phone, short message, WhatsApp. The fact that you prefer a phone contact doesn't mean that it is the same for your lead, and vice versa. Sometimes the form of contact depends on the time of the day, and you can test what will work best for you. Sometimes it's also worth sending a short message about what you are calling. Be the best seller in your company. Nobody will ever believe in your business just like you, and the next employees should learn from you. I guess the most school owners think about themselves as a work or office worker, or rather a teacher, but it's time to change that. However, it is the most important role, your role as a salesperson in a school, to inspire others. And you should cultivate these attributes within yourself and try to develop them, like goal orientation, like consistency, determination, communicativeness, right? And um, are your employees salespeople? Actually, as a homework, I recommend you to create a customer journey map. If you haven't ever heard about this, and this is about designing the whole experience path of your customers with your school. When you think about the moments when your customers make a purchasing decision and with whom he has contact with, what can influence his decisions, you will say that you all, teachers, directors of studies, office managers, every person who represents you sell at some point. Therefore, it is nice that the whole team takes a part in the designing on customer journey map process, because it makes them realize that depend on working together as a team, this synergy, you will get better results and achieve success. All right, so now 15 short sales tips for you and your sales representatives. 1. Contact as soon as possible. Uh, as soon as you reach your lead, better. If you won't pick up the phone, maybe your competitor did. Hmm? 2. 6 follow-ups. Try until you get a clear information, yes or no. If you don't get it, means that the customer is still in a decision-making process. 3. Ensure that the conversation won't take long. We live fast, so we don't like to waste more time than necessary to talk some to talk some sales representatives. If you ensure that it won't take long, they would be more likely to continue the conversation. 4. Smile. It's a cliche, but the key to the success. Smiling makes us seem more positive, cheerful, and full of energy. Then we make a better impression on the potential client and improve their mood. Positive energy is contagious, right? 5. Speak slowly and clearly. The basic principle of effective communication is pronouncing words clearly. Don't let the client make an effort to talk to you. Take care of careful pronunciation and try not to speak too quickly. Please always remember to slowly introduce yourself in each communication, each phone call. Always with the name, last name, and the company, and make sure your team also do that. 6. Define the purposes of conversation. Nothing is worse than having a conversation going nowhere. So remember to always tell your customer why you are calling him and what you have to offer. This rule also applies when the customer calls you. You will avoid misunderstandings and make your work easier. 7. Ask open questions. Involving a potential customer in the conversation is the first step to closing sale. To do this, try to ask open questions, those to which the client will be able to provide a longer answer. An effective selling technique is to avoid asking questions that can be answered with a simple yes or no. When questions, open questions, will help you engage your client in a conversation, explore his needs, and find the right offer for him. If you start bombarding your client with closed-end questions that he can answer, that could be answered yes or no, he will feel like it's an interrogation and will try to escape, hang up the phone, or leave the office as soon as possible. 8. Use social proof. As I said before, most of us are more likely to believe in the value of a product if we find that others like it. It's worth making use of it. 9. Use unavailability rule. You surely know that the harder it is to get something, the more interest it receives. Therefore, a good selling technique is to suggest the client that the offer you're presenting is limited in time or quantitatively. For example, a promotion campaign lasts only a week, or you have last spots left in the group. 10. Offer more than one option. Although we make a large part of a buying decision under the influence of emotions, we also like to feel that our decisions are rational. In the studies in which one product was shown, only 10% of customers decide to buy. On the other hand, in the second group, which presented two different products, sales increased by 66%. And this is because being able to choose gives us the feeling that we are in control of the situation and make an informed, rational decision. 11, be an expert. If you really want to sell, you need to know your product inside out. Customers often ask about details of the offer, product specification, or ask for a comparison to others available on the market. You should be able to honestly answer a customer's question. This will make them trust you more, and as a result, they will more likely buy. 12, be a fan of your school. Would you buy the product from someone who doesn't seem to be interested in? If so, you're in the minority. Therefore, as a seller, you should not only know your product perfectly, but also be enthusiastic about it. Enthusiasm is contagious, so make sure it spreads to your customers as well. 13. Ask the client or ask why the client is not interested. As a salesperson, you probably heard from potential customers sometimes that they are not interested in your product, and you end the conversation. And it is a mistake. Next time, try to continue the conversation. Ask why the client is not interested anymore. Thanks to this, you will involve him into the conversation. Who knows? Maybe it will turn out that it can still be persuaded to buy. But if not, at least you will gain invaluable knowledge about your customers that you can use to improve your offer or sales process. 14, identify your advantages. Actually, identify the features that give you advantage over your competition. You probably heard, or not, from a customer that your product or service is very similar to what is proposed by another company. What to do with this situation? First of all, hold back from criticizing your competition, or you will make a bad impression. Instead, indicate significant differences between your product and the competition. For example, better quality, better teachers, better service. In short, prove that your product is better. And the last one, 15, benefits over features. Your customers are not really interested in the features of your product, but in the profits that may result from them. Therefore, do not go into description of technical details and explain how they can improve the customer's life. If a customer is looking for a language course to get a better job, explain how he can do it after your course rather than offer him a 40 classes course, right? All right, 45 minutes. Thank you very much for your attention. I hope you'll use some tips and ideas in your school. If you have any questions, you can, of course, write it down here or write me an email to anna@langlion.com. Right, so now 15 minutes break. but I
Yes,
hope you
Anya.
will stay me.
Yeah, thank you very much for a wonderful session. Yes, if you have any additional questions to Anya, here you can see her email address and the website. Now we have 15-minute break, but as you probably noticed, we decided that our breaks will be kind of full of information. So you can either go and prepare, tea or coffee, or you can stay with us and listen to what Anya has to say, because she's going to show you one of the most popular software for language schools, not just in Poland, but in many, many countries. So I think it's really, really well staying and saying. Anya, the floor is yours again.
Thank you. All right, just give me a second to prepare. So 1 minute. Okay. So, right. I will share my screen. Hope you can see it. Right. Perfect. All right. So I will switch to also the same view. If you're there, thank you for staying with me during the break. I want to give you more information about LangLion platform, the comprehensive tool for managing school, which I represent. This would be only a sneak peek of LangLion. I definitely need more than just 15 minutes to show you the possibilities it could give you. So I will focus on absolutely basics and at the same moment, the most crucial elements of managing language school. If you would like to check how LangLion could be used in your school, you can schedule a live demo here on our webpage, langlion.com. Here is a request demo button. Or you can, of course, call me or try LangLion for free for 14 days, no strings attached. During the live demo, I will learn more about your school and your needs, and regarding those, could show you how LangLion will work in your particular situation and how it can improve your daily work. All right, let's go. I'm logging into LangLion. LangLion is available from a web browser as a normal website, both for admins, teachers, students, and for teachers and students also from mobile apps. Each user identifies himself with login and password, and according to their role in a school system will give them proper information, different for admins, teachers, parents, etc. Now I want to focus on how we can make your office life more effective. And on the other break, after my second session, I will give you an insight how you can use LangLion to give your clients, your students, complete offer and build stronger relationships with them. All right, LangLion is divided into 9 modules. But I will focus on the main one to show you quickly how you can add a group, create schedule, and track the payments of your students. Because it's, in my opinion, there's nothing worse than doing a demo on screenshots. That's why I will log into LangLion and quickly will show you in 10 minutes how you can do so. So I will quickly create a new group, conference group, right? We can choose a group type, the price of the course, which would be assigned to each person, each student assigned to this group. We can choose how many classes we want to provide in particular group, in what duration, and when we want to start our course. We can also set the course book, students limits, and as you can see, we don't have to put an end date of the course because the system will calculate it according to the free days and the schedule timetable of our group. We can set the default payment scheme, so installments, 3 installments, 500 each would be assigned to each person assigned to that group. And similar, we can simply create agreements with our students, which could be also accepted online by them. If I go next, system let me know that I should assign students to that group. If I click on Save and Close, I have a basic information about my group, and now I can create a schedule for it. To do so, I'm just clicking Add Classes. I set when I would like to have classes. I don't know which teacher and room is free, so I can check available teachers and rooms if it's offline. If it's online, I just have to click lesson available online, and according to that, when teacher login and student login into their profile on LangLion, they can simply on the main page see the button join the online lesson and join it right away without searching for any links. Yeah, I can search for which teacher and the room is available. So I'm choosing one of them. I can set the rate per classes for teacher. If it's offline, I can choose room and just save and close. And according to that, I know that the classes would be on Saturday with Rudolph. If classes are more than one times a week, I can copy settings from the previous one, just change a day, just to be sure, check availability of teachers, change a teacher, different rate per class, save and close. I'm doing it fast for sure, but I want to show you how easy you can create a group and calculate when the group will end according to the schedule. So system calculate according to start date of the course and 50 classes we want to get. The end date would be on 20th of October. And we see it lesson by lesson until we get 50 meetings. And system will always help you to control it. If you have to cancel class for some reason, it's really simple to do so. You're just choosing to set a status of classes. Choose a proper one, classes cancelled, for example. And system asks us about 2 things. If we want to generate classes for this group once again because of the cancellation, and now there's one lesson missing in the course, if we click on yes, system will calculate the end date of the course once again and create a new meeting in the end. And what's more, system asks us if we want to send a message, an email or short message if it's activated to our users that the lesson has been cancelled. If we click on yes, system will send an email to our whole group just by one click, right? Okay, but how about students? If we already have some students in LangLion on the demo version. This is Jessica. I assigned her to our conference group. She already has assigned a price with the installment scheme. According to what we did, we also generate an agreement that could be accepted online on her profile. It's already fill in with all the details from the group and from personal data of Jessica, with her name, last name, phone, start date of the group, prices, etc. So every data right away in a contract, you can simply send it to the PDF um, as a PDF to the email address, and Jessica could also accept this agreement online. If you want to issue an invoice for a customer, just click in issue an invoice, choose a service of product you want to issue, choosing the amount, clicking save and close, and that's it. If I chosen cash, that's why it's already paid. We can print the invoice, we can send it as a PDF to email address of Jessica. Additionally, one thing more, right away we get our details lists. So we have all our details right away here, and we can simply check them all, select them all from the list, and send an email about overdue payments. And system will send different message to each of them with his personal data, right? First name, last name, total left to pay. So right away, everything done. As I mentioned, it's only a sneak peek. I'm going back to the chat. If you want to ask me anything about LangLion, yeah, I encourage you for start the trial version, right, on langlion.com. And if you have any additional questions, yeah, just reach me, Anna@langlion.com. Now I'm going to a break, and I'll be back too.
Anna will be back. Anna, thank you very much for your
Thank you.
Yeah, for your wonderful presentation. Thank you very much. Anna will meet us later on. In a second, we are going to meet Ola Komada for another session. So let's wait patiently 3 minutes before we start on time. Bye-bye, Anna.
See you. Bye.